Go.
Well, Happy New Year, Sparks Leaders. We're excited to kick off the second half of our year. Hopefully you feel rested after having a month off. But as we get started again in the, winter/spring term, there are a few things that we wanted to talk with you about small group time. It seems that the large group time is going well, the game time is going well, but the Spark small group time probably still is the area that we could improve on in terms of how we manage our time. I know we've had prayer activities that have been scheduled for each week, and as I walk around and kind of observe what's been going on, most of the leaders have been spending the full amount of time on those prayer activities, which is fine. But a lot of them get repetitive after time, and you may find yourself kind of thinking, well, this is the same similar activity to what we did last week, and that's kind of true because there isn't a whole lot we can do when it comes to prayer with kids at this age. So I just wanted to talk about, again, remind you what we can be doing during that small group time to better use maybe the full 25 minutes that you have with the kids. So first off, the kids are going to be lining up from game time about 7:15, and then they're going to head back to the classrooms. And typically they're going to be probably a little crazy coming off of game time, so you're going to have to round them up and get them seated. And I've also seen a lot of the leaders use the floor instead of tables. And if you find working on the floor works better and seating them in a corner, that'd be great. Whatever works. Sometimes we don't have enough chairs, so finding a spot on the floor is a little bit easier than maybe sitting around a table. Plus, we also want the kids to feel comfortable. So if they're more comfortable on the floor, you're comfortable on the floor, that's a great place. So once you return from small group time, I just kind of put a little outline here, some things that maybe we could be doing. And from 7:20 to 7:25, they're coming back from game time, they're a little hyper, sit them down, and maybe spend that first 5 minutes as a quick time to connect with your students. Remember, part of small group time is to help the kids get to know one another, as well as you as a leader. And just take a quick 5 minutes, and don't make it more than that, otherwise the kids could talk forever. But ask them maybe, how was your week? What was the best thing about your week? Maybe coming back from Christmas. What was your favorite memory from Christmas? Maybe not necessarily a toy, but where did you go? Who did you see? Did any of you take any trips? And then as the year goes on, where did you see God this week? And the kids might struggle with this, but maybe presenting something from your own life as a way to kind of kick off how you're seeing God work in the life of you and your kids during the week. So just maybe a quick 5-minute connection time. Doesn't have to be anything too scripted or planned. It could even be what's your favorite food, just to get to know them and to help them know and relate to each other, and to see you as not only just a leader but somebody who is a human. Next, after that, this is the time of the night that I think a lot of the Sparks leaders have been skipping, and it's our biography activity. If you remember, at the beginning of the year, you all received a lesson plans, and in it there was a prayer activity, a theme for the night, and then also the section from the book that you should be working on. And we talked a little bit about how the Sparks books have biographies in them, and we want to be reading these with our kids, because what I find is that a lot of the kids will just skip to the verses and they don't actually read the biography. So for example, in book 2, Wing Runner, Samson is one of the biographies, and you read it with the kids, and for some of these you actually have to listen to the CD. And in each classroom there should be a CD player available for you. The CDs are in the back of the Sparks books. You can put the CD on and you can listen to the story with the kids. Because in the second and third book you have to actually get out the CD and listen to it, and I don't know how many of our kids are doing that. So we want to make sure that we spend some time on those biography activities. So after you read the biography activities or listen on CD, then you have these leader books, these leader guidebooks. And in the leader guidebooks, these again were handed out at the beginning of the year, there is a section for each biography. And each biography also has, in the leader handbook, it has some discussion questions for you to talk through with the kids in regards to the story. It also has some additional activities you can do, optional biography activities that you can do with the students. It's just another way to be doing something than just the prayer activity. And we want our kids to be thinking about their books, reading the biographies, and most importantly, applying those biographies to their life. Because what Sparks books do really well is that they not only just explain the biography, but it also relates it to what's the key point that they need to know. God is strong, God is faithful, God is always with them. So those are key points that we don't want our kids to be missing. In your small groups, all the kids should be working on the same book, with the exception of our first and second graders downstairs. Heather Gerber splits a group, but with some new leadership coming in, we should have everybody have their own group, so that you can be working through your kids with their books during small group time. So once you spend about 10 minutes, read the story, answer the discussion questions. There's some optional activities if you choose to do those if time allows. Then we want to focus on our prayer request / prayer activity. And prayer time doesn't mean just doing that prayer game or prayer activity that's scheduled. It also means asking the kids, what's going on in your life? What prayer requests do you have? Because again, we want the kids to share what's going on in their homes and their families with their friends and bring prayer back to them personally. So not only just prayer requests, but our prayer activities. So if it's a game, if it's just for the next couple of weeks, it's going to be filling out a prayer journal. Each week they'll have one page in their prayer journal to fill out. So those will be the different activities that you spend the last 10 minutes on. The nice thing about the prayer activity that's coming up the next 4 weeks with the prayer journals is if the kids don't get time to necessarily complete all of it, it's not a big deal. You can just pick up and keep working through it the next couple of weeks. The only other thing that I think we really wanted to focus on was just the different themes that are coming up. We have the first week back is our beach night, so come dressed for the beach, even though it's going to be freezing. And then we have a glow-in-the-dark night, which is a lot of fun. Please bring your flashlights that night because we do turn out all the lights in the church. And we also encourage you to do small group in the dark as well. It's just fun for the kids, and it lets them, that's a barf night, so we have a lot of friends that come that night. We will be sharing the gospel message in our large group time. And then then as we're working ahead, we get into January, the end of January, and the beginning of February, we're going to have a missions night for a couple weeks. And we'll talk more about that when you guys get back here. The first meeting back, during your game time, we're going to pull all the Sparks leaders together, and we're going to have a little powwow and just talk. So while your kids are at games with Joe and Curtis, if all the Sparks leaders could come, and we will meet, let's see, where should we meet? We'll probably meet downstairs in the fellowship hall in one of the side classrooms. So if we could meet, plan on that. I'll email you that as well to remind you. But that first week back, during game time, we're going to meet and just kind of go over a few things in the calendar that are coming, specifically missions night. So thank you for all you do. It's been an awesome start to our year. I'm excited to see how the second half's going to go. Our parents are so excited. Our kids are excited to return. And hopefully after a long break, they'll have a lot of energy and excitement about returning to Awana.